Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that honestly trips up so many language learners. We're talking about why English has so many different ways to talk about the future, and way more importantly, how you can actually master them effortlessly. If you're an intermediate learner, around that B1 level, consider this your ultimate guide to finally making sense of the whole shebang. Now, you might be thinking, why are there so many ways to talk about the future? Well, that is probably the single most common question English learners ask. It can feel super overwhelming to just stare at a timeline and wonder which tense to pick. But here's the secret we're going to uncover today. Choosing the right future form, it's not about memorizing rigid mathematical time rules. It's actually all about you, the speaker, and your perspective. Once you make that mental shift, everything else literally clicks into place. So here is our agenda for today. 1. English future forms explained. 2. Schedules, the present simple. 3. Intentions versus fixed arrangements. 4. Decisions and predictions, will. And 5. Summarizing the future. Let's get right to it. Section 1. English future forms explained. Our expert from the Learn English team, Peter M., points out something absolutely crucial here. He says, modals are used to express perspective. Where perspectives differ, different modal verbs are used. Basically, our grammar choices depend heavily on how we view a situation. Two people can talk about the exact same future event, but use completely different tenses, just because the perspective is different. One person might see an event as a solid, unchangeable fact, while someone else sees it as a spontaneous guess. It's not about objective reality, guys. It's about the speaker's intention. Section 2. Schedules. The present simple. Okay, so when you know about the future because it's a fixed fact, you normally use the present simple. Think of this as the out-of-your-control tense. We use this form for timetables, calendars, and schedules that are programmed beforehand and are basically 100% certain. Because it's so incredibly certain, the language treats it as a present reality, even though, it hasn't actually happened yet. Let's look at some examples. The train arrives at 6:30 in the morning. We have a lesson next Monday. The holidays start next week. What do all these have in common? Well, none of these events can be easily changed just by you wishing for it, right? You can't just decide the train is going to wait for you. It's a schedule. It's a hard fact. Therefore, we use the present simple. Section 3. Intentions versus fixed arrangements. A learner from our sources, a distinguished polyglot, asked this brilliant question. What exactly is the difference between a plan and an arrangement? Like, why do we use be going to for one and the present continuous for the other? It comes right back to that word we used earlier, perspective. Specifically, it's the difference between what exists only inside your head versus what you've actually cemented in the real world. Let's split these two concepts up. On the left side, we have be going to. We use this for future plans without strict time markers, basically your general intentions. On the right side, we have the present continuous, which is for fixed arrangements. These are plans that usually come with specific time markers because actual real-world steps have been taken to make them happen. Let's dive into that first concept. I'm going to go on holiday this year. This is simply a plan in the speaker's head. You've thought about it, you definitely have the intention, but maybe nothing is officially booked yet. It's an idea you're aiming toward, but it is not locked in stone. That's the perfect time to use be going to. So, how does that contrast with a fixed arrangement? Look at this one. I am meeting Jim at the airport tonight. Notice we're using the present continuous here. Why? Because this isn't just some vague idea in your head anymore. The time is set, you've agreed upon it with Jim, and it is firmly confirmed in the real world. You're treating a future event as if it's already happening, simply because the wheels are already in motion. Peter M. completely nails this point. He says, going to suggests an intention. Present continuous is used when that plan is already in motion, tickets bought, etc. It's all about that shift in certainty. Once you involve other people, buy a ticket, or reserve a table, you upgrade your sentence from be going to straight to the present continuous. But that naturally leads us to another question, doesn't it? What if you haven't made a plan at all? What if something just pops up right in the moment? Section 4. Decisions and predictions. Will. When you think of will, I want you to think of spontaneity and internal beliefs. We use will for immediate, instant decisions. If someone says they forgot their wallet, you say, I'll lend you some money. It's an instant reaction. We also use will for beliefs, opinions, offers, and promises. And finally, we use it for predictions when we don't have hard physical evidence in front of us right now, like saying, I think Brazil will win. It's your belief, not a proven fact. Let's see how will builds and contrasts with what we learned earlier. Imagine an instant decision. I've left my money. I will lend you some. It's completely spontaneous, right in the moment. But look what happens when we do have physical evidence. Look at those black clouds. I think it's going to rain. We use going to instead of will here because the black clouds are present evidence. The rain isn't just a random guess. The physical world is showing us it's literally about to happen.
Section 5. Summarizing the future. The sources provided this ultimate future tense cheat sheet, and it beautifully maps out exactly how every tense aligns with a specific speaker intention and context. You can see the present continuous is tied to time markers, be going to is tied to intentions without time markers, the future simple is for those immediate decisions and predictions, and the present simple is anchored firmly to schedules and timetables. It's like a giant puzzle, and it's not about complex math, it's just about matching the grammar to your specific reality as the speaker.
So I'll leave you with this. The next time you find yourself about to talk about tomorrow, pause for just a second. Ask yourself, is this event a strict schedule? Is it just an idea bouncing around in my head? Is it a fixed arrangement in reality? Or is it a spontaneous choice I'm making right now? Answer that, and the correct English future tense will naturally follow. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to get out there and practice this framework today.